resume. Okay. So sometimes in my dharmas where we kind of set the tone for the class, I'll read a book, you know, Mark Nepo, like the back of your hand at this point, or talk about experiences in my life. And there are just not as many experiences. So I'm bringing up a TV show that I was watching. Have you seen The Undoing on HBO? Okay. I highly recommend it. It's one of those, like, you really don't know what you know, even though you do know. So it just made me think of how we approach things. Sometimes we get ideas in our head, and even though we know the facts and they're right there clear as day, we conjure up some type of fantasy to kind of mask what the truth really is. So even though we know what's happening, we kind of shift and disguise it to pretend that it's actually something else, and then we don't want to deal with that. So we do that a lot when it's a difficult situation, when it's something that we don't want to deal with, or we're procrastinating, or whatever it is, we make up our own mind. So that's how powerful the mind is and how much control that we have over our own experiences. And we really need to see them for as they are. Clear as day, everybody else on the planet sees it except for us, because we don't want to. So we're going to start with Hakini Mudra. Bring the tips of the fingers together. And then we'll tip. And look in between your ring finger and your pinky. Bring your thumbs right to your third eye. So it's like a prism. And we narrow the view. So just take your gaze right in between those two fingers. Take a full breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. And then close your eyes. Just notice your breath. Drawing that right side energy to the left side to the right. Finding the balance as we sit up tall. And allow the mind to settle. So without all of the blur and all of the chaos and all the extra thoughts, the wheels constantly turning. So we can find that calm so that we can actually see the truth, feel the truth. We know it. We just need to bring it to the surface. Bring your hands together in a prayer. Fingertips stay connected. Just join the palms of the hands. Let the thumbs rest against the sternum. Sit up a little taller. Lift the chin. Breathe in. Big cleansing breath. Open your mouth. Let it go. Let's breathe in for all. Open your eyes. Namaste. Okay. So we'll start in a downward facing dog. Start your music. And then you have homework after class. It's a rainy day. You can watch that on HBO. I think there are about 6 different episodes, so you can binge watch it. Just spread your fingers wide. Find some movement here. Lift the heels. You know the drill. Pedal out the legs. See where you are today. If it's rainy out, if you're feeling that weather in your bones, a little stiffness, maybe you're a little lethargic. Give yourself what you need. Find a little bit more activity if you're feeling a little slow. You still want to calm it down in the mind. Doesn't mean we have to go to sleep. It just means we have to tune in. Get rid of what we don't need. And let's lift the heels high, roll out to a plank pose, shifting the weight into the arms, into the hands, into the tips of the fingers, get a little lighter on the toes. And bring the knees down. Untuck the toes, we'll shift the hips back a bit. And let's change the position of the hands for the fingertips to face the outer edges of the mat. And then we'll sway this from side to side. You can float up onto your fingertips here. Then we'll go a little wider. Take your hands completely off the mat, onto the floor. And then allow the shoulders here. So roll the shoulders forward, dip the chest down, the opposite arm will bend, but you're staying plugged in through the hands. So the hands are still gripping. Then walk your hands forward and we'll take this back to a child's pose. Let your head rest on the mat. Stay high up on your fingertips and roll the shoulders from here. So it's a limited range of motion, so you really need to concentrate on what you're doing here. Draw your attention to the shoulder blades as they come towards each other. Draw your attention to your fingertips as you're staying gripped into your mat. Take a full breath in. And on the breath out, we'll come up to a cat back. Slide the hands towards the knees. Stay high onto the fingertips. Now press the palms down and come into your cow. Allow the chest to shift forward through the arms. And then come forward a little bit more so you feel the wrists, you feel the arms. And then tip it back. Come into that cat, high up onto the fingertips. We'll sit the hips back down towards the heels. Slide the fingertips back behind you. We'll come into Ustrasana. Nice and easy, high on the fingertips. Open the chest, draw the shoulders back, tip the pelvis forward. And then maybe we sway the head from side to side. You can even shift the weight from one hand to the other. We don't necessarily have to leave the floor. Just feel that shift. And then lower your hips to your heels and we'll dance the camel. Sweep the right arm across the face as you relift the hips. Nice. And when you're ready, you'll shift to the other side. And start to roll through that shoulder joint. Maybe that arm travels all the way around, makes a big circle. See what feels good in your body. Nice. And when you finish with your second side, there's no rush. Keep the fingertips connected to the mat. Bring the chest forward. So let the neck be long and then release the head down towards the floor. From here, swim your right arm forward. So roll through the shoulder joint. Reach your fingertips towards the front edge of the mat, and then we'll do the same thing for the left side. Lengthening through the side body. Take your time. This time, plant your palms down. We'll keep the chest low and we'll slide through Bhujangasana, low cobra. Breath in, press into the tops of the feet. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Breath out, lower everything down. Top the toes, we'll bring ourselves up to a plank pose. Bend the knees, floating child's pose. Roll on the balls of the feet. Then let the hips swing over to the left side. We'll come to a side plank with both feet on the floor. Float the right arm up. And then circle it across the face, bend the knees, bring the hips towards the heels. We can even lower that butt cheek for a hot second. And then relift, straighten the legs. Take that arm long overhead. Come to a cat back, navel to spine, get broad across the shoulder blades, and we lightly bring that right hand back down to the mat. Shift the weight forward. Lower down knees, chest, and chin on the breath out. Breath in, Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale, lower yourself. Tuck the toes, make your way up to a plank pose. Ooh, feel the strength in those arms. Let's take it back to a floating child's pose. We'll sway this from side to side. And this time, lift your palm, lift your fingers, but keep the base of the palm down on the floor. Engage through those obliques. Hips will reach over towards the right side, and then we'll take this into a side plank Vashisthasana. Just for the stretch here, reach that left arm over your ear. Nice. Bend the knees. Bring your hips to your heels so you're strong in that right arm. Maybe the butt cheek touches the floor. And then we relift. Nice. Get broad. Draw the ribs in. Left hand comes down to the floor. Shift forward, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. Breath in. We'll take this to a downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Lift your right leg. Bend your knee, open your hip, and project your chest towards your right arm. We'll find a little bit more of a back bend than we normally would here. And lift your chin over the top of your arm. Let's keep that hip open. Draw your right knee around towards your right shoulder. You're still in a down dog, so the hips are high. Ooh. Let's step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Lower down to lunge and lift the right arm up for a twist. Now as you're twisting, be aware of that left hip. We're not collapsing here. We're lifting up. Draw your right arm back, turn your chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe you bend that right arm, there's a bit more of a twist. And then take the arm overhead. We'll reach towards the front edge of the mat as we release the twist. Bend your left leg, shift the hip back, and step to the outside of that left hand. And we'll sway this from side to side. So everything moves. Let yourself go here. And then as we sway the hips from side to side, they get a little lower. And we'll find ourselves in Malasana. Forearms can come down to the mat as you take those knees wide. Drop your chin into your chest. Maybe you come onto your elbows here, and we can come back into Hakini Mudra. Thumbs to the third eye. Plant your hands. Let's straighten the legs, turn the toes to face the wrists, and then lift the heels. Lift your hips, straighten the arms, tuck your chin into your chest. Feel the thighs on the ribs. We have a little bit more weight in the arms and the legs. Bring the heels together to touch, bring the toes together. And then we'll bend the knees and take a slow roll and rise up. When we're halfway there, find a little shimmy. That feels good to release the shoulders and the back. And then continue taking it all the way. Roll the shoulders here, wing the arms back. And then take your palms right to the sacrum. So we're going to lift up here. And then let the pelvis tip forward as we roll over the wrists. Take the elbows wide. Open the chest, lift your chin. So we have that support here. And we can actually feel a lengthening through that lumbar spine instead of a crunch. And then we'll sweep the arms up overhead, high prayer, Urdhva Hastasana. Breathe in. Breathe out as you fold forward, Uttanasana. Come halfway up. On the breath out, step back with your right foot. Your left leg is going high for a down dog split. And then bend your knee, open your hip. Nice. Straighten the left leg. Keep the chest pulling back towards your right thigh. The hips are going up towards the ceiling. Strong in the arms and the fingertips. Let's pull the left knee around towards the left shoulder. So we're still in a dog. We have an open hip here. Pop. And then take your gaze up. We'll step that left foot to the outside of the left hand. Now we're in our lunge. Float the left arm up. Lay it all the way back. And you can take that left hand behind you. Use the top of your left hand to see if your right hip is sinking down to the floor. You can give it a little lift here. Then lay it back even more. Nice. Take your left arm overhead. Reach way past the front edge of your mat. Soften your right knee. Use that momentum. Step to the outside of your right hand. We'll take this back into Malasana. Maybe we're a little more comfortable here and the forearms come down. And the head just hangs. Pull the triceps back to the inner thighs, prayer at your heart. And then we'll come back to Hakini Mudra, right at that third eye. So release the arms from the legs, but keep them energetically pressing away from each other. Now interlace your fingers here, flip the palms up towards the ceiling, lengthen the arms, take your gaze up. Draw the arms back, and then maybe you won't see the fingers anymore. We feel those shoulders big time. And then we'll fold on the breath out. Press into the hands, turn the toes to face the wrists. Lift your heels. Navel to spine, hips go high. This time we can float the feet together or take a little hop and come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Breath in, we stand all the way. Draw the arms back to a cactus shape. Take your hands to the sacrum. So your fingers are pointing downward. Use the base of the palms to lift up and then lay over the wrists. Breath in, Urdhva Hastasana, high prayer. Breath out, forward fold, Uttanasana. Lengthen on the breath in, breath out, step back, float back, your Vinyasa. Breathe in, open your mouth, let it go. Bring the feet together to touch. Lift the heels, take your gaze forward, soften the knees. Pull the hips back. You know you're going forward, so grip into those fingertips and then make your way to the top of the mat. Breath in, lengthen. Breath out, fold. Straight legs, sweep the arms up overhead, high prayer, look up, see your hands connect. On the exhale, we float it right back down. Breathe in, prepare, breath out, step, float back, Vinyasa. Nice. Inhale, flutter out the lips, move the jaw around, shake the head. This is like home base here. You wipe the slate clean. All right, let's lift that right leg. Bend your knee, open your hip, and we'll find a bit of a back bend here, bringing your chest towards your right arm. Lift your chin over your shoulder. Lift your left heel and draw your right knee around towards your right shoulder. So you're still in a dog. Now put your right thigh forward for a one-legged plank. We'll spin to the inside of the left foot, grab hold of your shin with your left hand, and bring the thigh up into the chest. So we have like this funky side plank deal. Yeah. Now we'll switch. Keep your thigh close to your chest, bring your left hand down. We'll spin to a side plank on the outside of that left foot, but catch hold of your shin with your right hand this time. And then you can help lift the hips by lifting the right leg, press out of the left arm. Step your right foot back behind you and we'll come right into rock star. So it'll be small if you're just starting out. That back feels a little tight still. Let the arm float overhead. Keep projecting the hips up towards the ceiling. And we'll gaze down at that left hand. Bring your right hand down to meet it. Step forward for a low lunge. Anjaneyasana. Untuck the back toes. Sweep the arms up overhead. We'll cactus the arms here. Ooh, so keep opening that chest, maybe wing the arms back. Now tip the chest forward just enough to tuck the left toes under. And we'll turn towards the left for Skandasana. So we're staying low on this one. Yeah, right leg is straight, left knee is bent. And then maybe we float the hands to the heart, see what that feels like. Take a little bounce here. We're securing that left foot. And lift the chest. Nice, flex your toes. Cool. Let's turn to the back edge of the mat. Twist your lunge with your right hand down. Float the left arm up. Breathe in. And we'll drop that left hand to frame the foot. Come down on your right knee, but keep your toes tucked. And we'll come to a half split or Ardha Hanumanasana. I can find some movement here, swaying the hips from side to side. Now walk your hands back towards your right knee, and we'll push back onto that right foot. So on the ball of the foot, the left heel floats up. And we'll bring it to a skater pose. Maybe we'll drop that right heel down. Fingertips can stay on the floor, or maybe we reach for the left foot. And then you can control with the pointer or flex how far forward, how much weight you shift forward. Nice. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Pull your left thigh into your chest, and we're going to kick that left leg straight up. So we thread it through the arms. Keep your left fingertips down, and we'll come to a dancer variation. Catch hold of your left foot. And then we lift the chest, straighten the right leg any amount. You're high up on your left fingertips. So we're not really twisting here. We're looking straight ahead. Keep kicking the foot, and then lift it a little higher with your hand. Now guide the left toes down into a Shiva pose. Left knee comes behind the right. Little curtsy here. We can wing the arms back and drop the hips. So we're facing the back edge of the mat. Let's come to chair pose. Left foot meets right. Breath in, take the arms up overhead. Nice. Now we'll twist over to the right side. Prayer at your heart. Give yourself a moment to move the ribs. Lay it back. Good. Drop your butt a little bit more. You got it. Now we'll come back through center. Let's catch the hands behind our backs. Take a forward fold with an interlace. Let the arms come forward as you tuck your chin into your chest. And release through the shoulders. Take an extra lift of the knuckles up towards the ceiling. Make some room for rotation and then bring them forward. We'll come back to chair pose. Release the hands. Breath in, we sweep them high above the head, and then we'll twist over to the left side. Now release the twist, but keep the ribs connected to the thighs. We're going right into the fold here. Take your hands back behind you for the interlace. Straighten the legs any amount. We're taking this forward. Come back to chair pose. This time bring a prayer to your heart. And we lift the heels. Now take your time here. Heels are coming high, hips are going low, and we'll start to hover, taking a toe balance. Lift your chest. Now with control, we'll gently bring the knees down to the floor. Yes, reach your fingertips back behind you. Stay up high on the fingertips. And come to a camel pose, Ustrasana. So the heels are high, drop your head. And then sit back down on the heels. Step your left foot forward. Cool. And then relift the hips. We'll take Ustrasana with a little bit of a twist here. So bring the pelvis forward so that knee is underneath the hip. And we can lay back with that right arm. So you might feel that right quad a little bit here. And then we'll bring that right hand forward. Sit lightly on your right heel, and then we'll spin over towards the right side and come into a goddess. Climb your hands up the thighs. Yeah, it's fine to twist here, bring the right shoulder forward. You dip the hips any amount. When you're ready, take it to the other side. Come back through center. Bring a prayer at your heart. Let's take Skandasana. Straighten that right leg. You're facing the front of the mat. Right toes are flexed. We'll shift into warrior two. Ooh, come up slowly. There you go. Peaceful warrior on the breath in. Breath out, float the arms down, step back, Vinyasa. Breathe. Lift your left leg. Bend the knee, open the hips. So keep your right heel down to start so we have that lengthening. And then lift your chin over your left arm. Bring your chest towards your left arm. Now lift your right heel. Let's draw that left knee over towards the left shoulder. We're still in that V, that down dog shape. And pull the left thigh into the chest. We'll spin to the inside of the right foot, catch hold of your left knee with your right hand. Maybe we bring the thigh into the chest. We'll change sides, right hand comes down, spin to the outside of the right foot. Side plank variation, we'll catch hold of that left knee, left shin. And we can lift. And pull yourself up. Step back into rock star. So maybe you see your left foot connect to the floor. And then float those hips up in that left arm back. Nice. Look down at your right hand, bring the left hand down. We'll step to a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Untuck the toes, float the arms up, take the breath in. Scissor the inner thighs, bringing your right hip forward. We don't feel that right knee at all because we have the quad and we're pressing down into the top of the right foot so that right leg stays engaged without collapsing. And then bring the arms back. We'll bring the fingertips down, tuck your right toes. And let's come into Skandasana on the other side. Left leg is straight. You need a moment to adjust here and get into that shape. Let it happen. Don't rush it. And then prayer to your heart. And see if you collapse in that hip. Hover. Press into the left heel. Press into the sole of the right foot. Let's turn it to the back edge of the mat. Twisted lunge. Right arm floats up. Breath in. Nice. And we'll bring it down. We'll take this into half split. Keep the back toes tucked. Straighten the right leg. Find that movement here, that fluidity of the hips, a little bit of release here. You can even engage through the obliques, take a twist in the torso as well, whatever feels good. Then we'll walk the hands back. We'll float the right heel as we take the weight into the ball of the left foot. And then slowly we bring that heel down to the mat. So the hands can stay down on the mat, or we grab hold of the right foot for skater. And squeeze the legs into each other. We're steady here. Press into the fingertips, round out that back and shoot that right leg through the arms up towards the ceiling. Reach back with your left hand to connect to the foot. Press into your right fingertips, lift the chest, keep kicking your foot into your hand. And then soften the knees. We'll step into Shiva, right foot behind left. Wing the arms back. Bend the knees a lot to dip your butt down towards the floor. Yeah, get down there. A little lower, a little lower. Yeah, there it is. Right foot meets left chair pose, Utkatasana. Let's twist over to the left side, catching the right tricep. One breath, way back. Fold the chest, catch the hands back behind you, interlace the fingers, straighten the legs any amount to fold. So you can keep your palms, base of the palms, the wrists are still touching. We'll come back to chair pose, release the hands, float them up overhead as you breathe in, lift the chest. Then we'll twist over to the right side. Yeah, that's it. Give space for the ribs to travel. Cool. Release the twist. Let's take this back, interlace the fingers. Forward fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Take the breath in as you raise the hands all the way up to open. And then connect your prayer at your heart. We'll float the heels up. Take your time, toe balance. As the hips descend, the heels rise. The legs are active. And then float the knees down to the mat. So we have that nice little toe stretch here for the arches of the feet. Connect your fingertips to the mat behind you and lift into Ustrasana. Camel pose. Bring the hips back to the heels and step forward with your right foot. Yeah, so you can push off of your right hand. And then we'll float up off that left heel. Reach the left arm back. So now you have a twist. Yeah. So you're here. Right hand stays down. Start from the bottom up. It's easier. Yeah. And then we'll release the hip back to that heel. Bring both hands over to the left side. And we'll turn into goddess legs. And this time we'll take it up to cactus. The arms are in full goddess here. Maybe we sink the hips just a bit more. Take the knees a little wider. Maybe find a little pulse here. Wake ourselves up a little bit. We're feeling that rain. And let's come to Skandasana. Bend your right knee straight, the left leg. Use the arms to guide that right knee towards the back edge of the mat. And then we'll shift into warrior two. Peaceful warrior breath in. Let it go, Vinyasa. Breathe in. Flutter out the lips on the breath out. Do that again. All right, let this uncurl, let it be what it is. Just go with the flow, what feels better for your body today. Lift your right leg. Bend your knee, open your hip. We'll come to that back bend with the heel down, lift the chin up, turn your chest to the right. Now lift the left heel as you draw the right knee towards the right shoulder. Stay in that V. We'll take this forward, hugging the right thigh into the chest, spin to the inside of the left foot. We'll come to fallen triangle here. So before you grab hold of that leg with your left hand, see if you can grab hold of the foot and then kick the leg out. So we're staying high. Keep lifting the hips. And then turn your chest up towards the ceiling. You're looking over your left shoulder. Nice. And then rebend that right leg, hug the thigh into the chest. We'll take it to the other side, Vashisthasana. So again, we caught that leg with the right hand. Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe grab hold of the big toe and find the extension in the right leg. Take your time, step it back, rock star. Right hand comes down to meet the left. Step your right foot forward, low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Keep the back toes tucked. Take the arms high above the head. Cactus and wing them back. Take the breath in. We'll dip the chest forward slightly. We'll come to Skandasana. Spin towards the back edge of the mat, right leg is straight. Twisted lunge to the back end of the mat, right hand down, left arm up. Breathe in. Rough out, drop your right knee, keep the back toes tucked, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. You can fold the chest, let the head just drop down towards the shin or the ankle. And tuck the chin into the chest as we lift up, walk the fingertips back. Shift the weight onto that right foot. And maybe we float the hands up, we don't touch that left foot. And then we come up. Maybe the hands don't touch. Grab hold of that foot with your right hand. Plug the left fingertips down into the floor. Lift. Chest comes high. Toes go high. Bring your right hand down to meet your left. Straighten the left leg. Take a micro bend in that right knee and take a little hop here. You can play with an arm balance. And then take your time, float the right foot down to the floor. Step your left foot back behind your right for Shiva. Nice, swing the arms back. Drop your hips, lift your chest. Let's come into chair pose, left foot meets right. Sweep the arms up overhead as you breathe in. We'll twist over to the right side on the breath out. And maybe we tee the arms, bring the left fingertips down, right fingertips can reach up, and sit back a bit. Yeah, so we're bringing the weight into the heels. Cool.
Let's come back to our heart. Release the twist. One breath, raise your prayer up overhead. And then on the breath out, we'll twist over to the left side. When you're ready to release the right fingertips down towards the floor, and bend the legs a little bit more so you can actually reach the floor. When we twist the left fingertips up, we can turn the gaze. Let's come back through center. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Full fold, straighten the legs in, inhale. Now this will be a little different here. Lift your head just a bit. Reach the knuckles up towards the ceiling and float the heels up. Oh boy. Now from here, we'll transition to that toe stand. Release your hands, bring your prayer to your heart. And then take your time. We're lifting the chest as we lower the hips. Heels are up the whole time. Take your time. Float the knees down to the floor. Let's take the hands to the heels and come to Ustrasana. So we have a little bit more space here for that camel. Open the chest a little bit more. Drop your head back. And then we'll sit back on the heels. You can bring your left fingertips down to the floor if you need to, or just step that left foot forward. Reconnect to your right heel with your left hand. And come back to that back bend. Take your right arm overhead. Maybe the left fingertips come down to the floor. We'll bend that, straighten that left leg, shift the hips back, turn to your right, and we'll come into our goddess pose. Now stay low with the hands. Yeah. Bring your hands down underneath your shoulders. We'll lift the heels here and take a couple of hops onto the hands, but the legs are wide like a frog. And then take your time bringing the feet back down. Let's shift to Skandasana, straighten the right leg. Warrior 2 to the front of the mat. Peaceful warrior. Float the arms down to frame the right foot and we'll step it back to a down dog. Walk your feet halfway to meet your hands. Take the legs wide and we'll come back to that little frog jump. And this time we'll land it in Malasana. Cool. Reach out with the right fingertips. Let's twist that left arm up. Lay it back, find the space. And then we come back through center. Change sides. Left hand reaches back to help that leg move back. Take that right arm up. Okay. Now press into your left hand. Let's reach back with the right hand. Here comes a little back bend here. Come on your fingertips. You can drop your palms. You're coming into a wheel variation. And then we'll lower the hips, come back into that Malasana. Bring the right hand forward to meet the left. Nice. Reach back with the left hand. Let's lift that right arm. Lift the hips, lay it back, gorgeous. And then we'll come forward. Left hand meets right. Let's lift the hips, turn the toes to face the wrists, and we'll come into Bakasana. So take your time in crow. We're not floating back here, we're actually shifting into the next shape. So hang out here for a breath or two. Navel to spine, lift your hips, bring your heels close to your butt. And then bring your left foot down to the floor. Cool. Right foot doesn't touch the floor. We'll wrap that right arm around the right shin. Take a full bind and we'll come to standing Marichyasana. Now keep the left arm back behind you. That's going to support that low back. Catch hold of your right big toe with your peace fingers. And we'll extend to big toe pose. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. And then allow the heel to lift up. Allow your gaze to lift up. And maybe we'll find a slight back bend over that left arm. And then with control, we come back to the center, release your foot. We'll step it back to a high lunge. Breath in, raise the arms up overhead. Breath out, frame your left foot, kick your left foot back, keep it off the floor, and lower everything down to the mat. Curl your left hamstring, grab hold of the ankle with your left hand. Let's untuck the right toes and reach your right fingertips forward. So we're coming into a bow variation. Kick your foot into your hand, lift the chest. Use the strength of the right arm to help lift. And then the right leg and the right arm float up off the floor. Now there's one more step here. Let's cross the right ankle behind the left. And then lift a little higher. And then we'll release everything down. Take the feet wide, take the hands wide, drop your forehead. Take it back to a wide knee child's pose. Toes can touch. Bring the chest down. Bring your hands together in a prayer. Walk the elbows forward, and we'll take the prayer behind the head, right to the center of the shoulder blades. Release the shoulders. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Find a little bit of movement here. Erase everything that we just did. Let it be fresh. It's going to feel completely different on the left-hand side. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Lift your left leg. Bend your knee. Take your chest to your left arm, find the back bend. Lift your chin above the left arm. Then lift your right heel, draw the left knee over towards the left shoulder. Stay in your dog. So we have that compression, navel to spine. Slide the left thigh into the chest. Now we take it forward to plank. Spin to the inside of the right foot, fall in triangle. We can connect to that left foot with the right hand and guide it out. Lift it up. And lift the chest a bit. Rebend the left leg, and we'll just turn it to the other side to keep the compression here. And then we feel that opening. Grab hold of the foot if you're bringing it into split. Maybe you're hanging onto your knee. That's it, take your time. Strong right arm. Push the floor away, lift the chest. Take your time, release the foot. We'll step it back into rock star. You can look down and watch your foot touch the floor. And then lay it back. Gaze at your right hand, bring the left hand down. We'll step forward for a low lunge. Keep the toes tucked. Breath in. Breath out, lay back. Tip the chest forward so we can lift the right knee and turn to Skandasana. Left leg is straight. Twisted lunge to the back of your mat. You can be on the left fingertips. Take a little bit more space here to float that right arm up. Lay it back. And drop the right hand. Drop the left knee. We'll take this back to a half split. Keep your back toes tucked and we'll fold first. Let it go. Tuck your chin to your chest as you walk the fingertips back. Now press into that left foot as the right heel lifts up off the floor. And we can come to that skater. Reach the fingertips forward. Navel to spine, maybe the fingertips touch the floor, maybe they don't. Catch hold of your right foot with your left hand, right fingertips. Come back to the floor. Lift, lengthen. Release the left hand down to meet the right. Right leg is still going up towards the ceiling. Lift the left heel, small bend in the left knee, and hop it up. Maybe just play with this, like a little tick-tock. Keep bringing the foot back down to the floor, take a little hop up. Maybe you'll catch it. If not, no biggie. Keep practicing. Then the left foot comes back down. Shiva pose, right foot behind the left, wing the arms back so we can lift the chest and the head. We were just upside down. Chair pose, Utkatasana, right foot meets left. Breath in, raise the arms. Breath out, we'll twist over to the left side. Right fingertips come down to the floor, left arm floats up, and then maybe this time you wrap the left arm around the back. Make room in the inner thigh of the right leg. Swing that right knee out. Then we can connect with the fingers. And then bring the knees back together. Lay it back and try to take your gaze up towards the ceiling. So the whole torso is twisting. I'm not just pulling on the shoulder. So that popped, that felt good. Let's release, bring your hands to prayer at the heart. One breath, raise your prayer up overhead. Rough out, we twist over to the right side. Yeah, so get yourself in there. Notice where the elbow is. If it's right close to the knee, chances are it'll slide. So you want to get a deeper bind. Drop your butt, floor will be a little bit more accessible. Right arm floats up. Wrap your right arm around your back. Open the left knee. Yep. And catch that inner thigh. Long. So the crown of the head is at the top and the base of the spine is at the bottom. One line here, and then twist and find that spiral. Then we'll unravel it all. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, take the forward fold. We'll keep this one nice and easy. We'll come to a deep squat here. Keep the heels down. So we're not coming to that toe balance. Now we lift the heels. Prayer to your heart, bring the knees down to the floor. Grab hold of the heels, just stress them and camel. Maybe the fingertips come down to the floor. We'll shift the hips back just a bit to step that right foot forward. Keep your right fingertips down on the floor. Sweep the left arm up. Now allow the pelvis to shift forward as we lay down. Nice. And then release, bring the hip back towards the heel. We'll turn to the left side. Come into that goddess shape. Now the hands can come down to the floor. If you want to come down on your head or straighten the legs for a forward fold. Any inversion here. That's it, take your time. That's it. Navel to spine, hips are coming higher so they're above the shoulders. You got it, nice. Keep projecting out through the toes the whole time. Fantastic. Can you bring your toes to touch and make a little diamond shape so the knees will stay bent so you still have that straddle? Yes. Trust it, trust yourself. All you're doing is bringing the toes together. Knees are still wide. All right, got something to do later. All right, we'll bring that down, come back into that goddess legs. And then we'll shift to Skandasana. We'll just kind of hang out here for a breath. You're upside down. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Peaceful warrior. Float the arms down. Take it back to a down dog. Walk your feet wide. Now walk them a little closer to your hands here. So we'll play with this one. Maybe you bring your hands back a little bit. Bend the knees and take a few frog hops with the legs. So you're shifting your hips over your shoulders. And then you'll slowly lower down to Malasana. Good. Walk the left fingertips out, lift the right arm up. And then from here, reach your right hand back behind you, and we'll take that wheel variation. And we'll lower down, take your time. Right hand comes forward to meet the left. Drop your chin to your chest, round out your back, let your head go. Slide the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Let's open up for a twist on the left side. And sweep the arm back. And wheel. And bring yourself down. Left hand meets right. Drop your chin. Now press into your hands, spin your toes to face your wrists. We're coming back into crow. Navel in. Push the floor, use your fingertips. You're staying steady in the breath. Now take your time, bring your right foot down to the mat. We'll shift weight into that right heel as you wrap the left arm around the left shin. Bend your right knee. And then we take it up to stand Marichi. Finding the bind. So taking your time, it's a balanced pose. And then let that right arm support the back. So we're strong and tall and standing leg with your chin, with your gaze. We'll release the left hand to grab the toe. Utthita Hasta A, that right arm is exactly where it was, doesn't move. Then you can support the back. We'll lay this back any amount. And we'll take it back to a light warrior 3. High lunge. Breathe. Bring the hands down, step your right foot back to float. We'll lower everything down to the mat. Catch hold of your right ankle with your right hand on top of the left toes. Reach the left arm forward. Put down your asana variation. Take your foot into your hand. Lift your chest. Press into your left fingertips. And then float the left leg and the left arm. Once you're there, we tuck that left foot behind the right ankle. And lift a little higher. When you're ready, you'll release everything down. Make a little pillow for the head. Stack one hand on top of the other, forehead rests. You can just jiggle the hips from side to side here. And bend the knees and sway the feet. And hold at center, start to roll the ankles. Straighten your right leg. Take your right arm forward. Take your left hand to your left shoulder. And we'll bring the left knee to the left wrist. So you're in this half frog shape. Just release the chest here. We can take the left arm back behind us, wrap it around the back to release the left shoulder. And then connect your left fingertips to the mat as we roll onto the right side. So we're coming all the way back. Keep your left arm where it is, but basically roll on top of your left arm. Try to release the shoulder. Pull that left knee a little higher. Then maybe we connect to the knee with the right hand. Actually hug it into the chest. Oh. Option to grab hold of the ball of the foot, maybe straighten the left leg.
A little bit more of a split here. Stay engaged to the right leg so it doesn't slide anywhere. Keep it soft, keep it bent. And then we'll release the left foot to meet the right, extend the right arm over your head and push with the left fingertips to roll yourself back. And we'll just take that to the other side. Left arm reaches up. Right hand to your right shoulder, right knee to your right wrist. Release. Breathe here. And surrender your weight to the floor. Let gravity hold you up. Soften in the body, wrap that right arm around the back. Maybe you extend first to pull the shoulder away from the ear and then wrap it. Then reach the right fingertips to the floor as you roll back. You're on your right arm. Draw that left knee a little farther up. Maybe we grab it. Grab the right knee with the left hand. Hug the thigh into the chest. Or maybe extend. And rebend the knee. Stack the right foot on top of the left. Reach the left arm overhead. Push with your right hand to bring yourself back to center. Right hand meets the left. Then slide the hands back underneath the shoulders. We'll take this back to a child's pose. Tent up onto your fingertips. Tuck your chin into your chest. Take a full breath in. And on the breath out, come halfway up into a cat back. So we're floating the hips up off the heels and then tuck your toes under. So you're connecting through the balls of the feet. This time we'll reach back for the heels and come into a rabbit pose. So we have that round spine. Really tuck your chin into your chest. Think about bringing your eyebrows right in front of your knees. And the back side of the head comes down to the mat. So from here, we'll shift forward. A nice stretch for the upper back and the neck. You're holding onto your heels so you control how far forward you come. And we'll take our time coming out of it. Deep stretch. Come onto your hands on top of the toes. Have a seat on the heels. Just bring your hands to a prayer at your heart. Close the eyes. Just steady yourself here. Bring the fingertips down to the floor. Shift to one side so you can extend the legs out in front of you. We'll give them a little massage. Do those quads right at the tops of the knees. Flex your feet. Come down towards the calves, the ankles. And then inhale the arms up overhead. On the exhale, let's take a forward fold into Paschimottanasana. Flex your feet. And when you're about halfway there, bring your wrists to your toes. And then we'll lean over to the left side, pull the right hip back. Lean over to the right side, pull the left hip back. Now wrap your hands around the balls of your feet. You're gently drawing your toes back. And give a little squeeze to the balls of the feet and float the heels up. Ooh. So the tips of your fingers kind of pressing in there. A little reflexology for you. Let's walk the ribs a little farther forward. And then we'll bring the crown of the head towards the toes. And then once you are there, take your hands on top of your feet. Take the thumbs into the arches and point your toes. So the hands can elongate the top of the foot. We're not pressing down. We're bringing them forward. And then release it all. Let your arms just hang. Bring your feet together a couple of times. Get that blood circulating. And then release. Let them flail out to the sides. Make a little bit of space in between your calves for your head to hang. So it's not necessarily down on the legs.
Start to roll it back. Take your time, keep your chin into your chest. You can shift the weight into the hands to bring the hips slightly forward. Hold on to the hamstrings. And keep your heels connected to the mat. Navel to spine, slowly allow yourself to melt down so we're not crashing. You're staying engaged through those abs the whole time. So feel how much control you have. And as you start to touch down, don't go any faster. Keep the pace. Let the arms float up overhead. Let's extend the legs up towards the ceiling. And we'll roll the ankles here. Take the legs wide in a straddle, and then we'll cross the right leg over the left and come into an eagle wrap. We can reach for the knees, draw the thighs into the chest, and lift the head. Lift the shoulders, and bring your forehead to your knee. And we'll release, bring your back down. Keep the legs twisted in that eagle. Drop your left heel down to the floor and slide it forward. And then maybe the right heel will touch. Now reach the arms up overhead. Reach with the fingertips. Maybe you can lift the left heel, but keep the right heel down. So point the left toes, flex the right. Ooh. And then flex the left foot, a little bit of a cramp there. And then we draw the knees back into the chest. Big unravel, let's straddle the legs wide. We can catch hold of the heels or the calves and guide the toes down to the floor. And then we'll take the eagle to the other side. Left leg over the top. Take hold of the knees. Keep the low back down. We lift the head, we lift the shoulders. Maybe we grab hold of the right knee, the right shin, the right ankle. Bring the forehead to the leg. And then we'll release. We can slide the hands up the shins towards the knees. Right heel comes down to the floor. Extend the arms overhead and then slide your right foot forward. Take little hops, little steps. Left heel touches down. Once that happens, we lift the right heel, point the right foot, flex the left. Ooh, keep squeezing those thighs together. And then flex your right foot. Bring the thighs back to the chest. Big unravel of the legs. We go wide in a straddle. Now keep the left toes down. Let's roll over towards the left side. Stack your right leg on top of your left. So you're making a big L. And try to get the legs to be even. So you're not pulling back on the right hip where your right foot touches your ankle. It stacks on top of your left. And then open up on that right side. Keep your left hand on top of your right shin. Bend both knees. We'll come back through center. Let's come back to that straddle nice and wide. And the right toes stay down. We'll take that left leg nice and long. And we'll stack it over that right foot. Right hand to the shins. Release that left arm out to the left side. You can even turn your gaze to look at your left hand. And then we'll come back through center. Pull both knees into the chest, come to happy baby. We like to sway this from side to side, finding that rock, seeing how far those thighs are away from the floor. They don't necessarily have to touch. We want to keep the sacrum down. Maybe we just pause in the middle, press it down, and then draw the thighs towards the floor. See what happens. And if there's any other pose or movement or stretch that you want to take before you come into Shavasana, do that now. Maybe you can extend the legs and just draw the shins toward your face. Let the toes touch back over your head. So let's recline, Paschimottanasana. And the full extension of the arms, reach over your head so the toes can touch the wrists. Maybe we walk the toes up the arms. As we start to release one vertebra at a time towards the floor. And we can float it all the way, keeping the length projecting out through the toes. Project out through the fingertips. And then separate the feet to reach towards the corners of the mat. And you are in Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath. And start to reawaken the body. Small movements to start. And get long. Reach the toes forward, straighten legs. Reach your fingertips over your head. Breathe in, fill all the way. Keep reaching in both directions. And then in a lion's breath, stick out your tongue or let it go, sigh it out. Bring your feet back to the mat. Roll onto whichever side you prefer. And lift yourself up to sit. Keeping these two eyes closed. Let's draw the fingertips back together for Hakini Mudra. And this time we'll tilt the prism. So instead of looking through the ring finger and the pinky, tip your index finger towards your third eye. And keep the other two eyes closed. The space is broadened. So maybe we can see it a little bit better. Now that we've calmed the thoughts in the mind, the preconceived notions and the assumptions, or the fantasies of how we want things to be, how we want them to look. But in reality, that's not it. So see what's true. We know in our hearts what's true. We just have to allow the mind to accept it as well. Take a full breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Let's stay in this mudra, but breathe in for Om. And then when you open your eyes, see the bigger picture. Open them up. And then bring your hands together in a prayer to your heart. Namaste.